Oh,
Okay.
He's back.
He's back.
Okay.
I accidentally joined a different VC. I don't know. Don't ask me how.
Well,
I was actually like, yeah, I'm not the one asking the questions right now, so I'm just gonna scroll.
just scroll. Just move on.
Yippee! Oh my god! Hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Retake. We have Kale, Dave, and a very special guest, YFP owner Nima. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Dubs. All right. So what we're gonna do, going back to one of the old episodes we did, we're just gonna do a nice common interview with Nima here, and we'll ask him some questions, and we'll just vibe out. So first of all, you're a big face here in Tier 2 nowadays. You're a part of YFP. Up until 2 years ago, YFP wasn't even in Tier 2. So it's really huge to see how YFP made that journey up from Tier 3 to Tier 2. How does it feel?
It feels pretty good. It's been a long time in the process, so it feels good to be here. I mean, it took us about like 3-ish, 4-ish years to get to where we are now, but we still have so much room to grow, so much room. And it's going to take time. Rome wasn't built in a day, so we're just going to kind of go with the flow with what we kind of got going.
So yeah, moving on to that, you're still on the path towards Tier 1, I'm hoping. So like, what's the goal of YFP for the next 2025 season, other than like ascending?
Yeah, so this is a fun topic. I get this a lot. I'm very, very much in Reddit responding to comments. I get a lot of comments there on like the Valorant competitive. We don't know because like obviously we all kind of know with the new TO coming in, Knight's kind of going out of the scene. We don't know what 2025 looks like. We don't know if new TO comes in and just kind of clean slates it. We don't know. We haven't been promised anything. But what I would love is stick together and just ascend together. Like the 5 we have now, especially in Valorant, have played together since like CS days, at least 3 of them. So they're all good friends inside and outside of the game. And they want to ascend together. They'd rather run it back than go anywhere else. So we just kind of have to wait and see at least for the next couple of months to see what's the actual plan of 2025. But that's what we're kind of trending towards right now.
Sounds sick. And on the way, you're gonna like try building the brand a little bit more, try to explore into more stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah. We expanded to 2 other esports. We're in Overwatch now. We're in COD now as well. We're building out like a content team going into 2025 with content creators and stuff like that. I'll kind of tease a little bit. We do have like a brand refresh going into 2025 as well.
Ooh.
So that's something to look out for. We're kind of throwing all of our eggs in the basket in 2025. Really, really want to grow the brand and like kind of be, as you kind of said, like a more of a staple in the Tier 2s and kind of grow with that and hopefully ascend one day.
That's sick. And you have I don't know if the roster's still a thing right now, but you also had a GC roster who made really good moves last season.
Yes.
Being able to break top 3.
Yes. Yeah. So we have that GC roster still. Obviously, Corruptor Wiley is playing with Fun Havers right now. I don't know if their plan is to continue in GC or not. But yeah, that's what that is kind of looking like.
Okay, then with that, also, oh my god, my face. Okay. Before I think it was the Red Bull Seattle LAN. I don't know if it was before or after, but I remember that YFP put out some open applications for rosters and maybe like for players to like try out on YFP.
Yeah.
We never know what happened to that, but in terms of that, how did you manage to get the 5 players you currently have on YFP at the start of Open Qualifier and then Stellar and Jay coming in later?
Yeah, so I'll kind of rewind it to like Open Quals, as you said. I was talking to Moose at the time. We were talking about bringing Turtle Troop on to YFP. That was the plan originally. And at the time, 3 of the 5 of Turtle Troop did not want to come on board. And it was Moose and someone else was trialing with them. And then something happened. They ended up not going together, not continuing on after that. So Moose reached out to Physic and we kind of built the squad that we have now. We had Bones, Jonah, Physic, Moose. I'm trying to remember the 5th.
Was it Thief?
No, Thief joined after Moose went to Cloud9. God, I feel so bad. I don't remember who the fifth was.
There's
But
always the one person. They're just so
there's
good.
always the one person. But yeah, we qualified through open quals, and then after that, that's when things got a little tricky, and like throughout the few months have gotten trickier as we kind of went. Moose obviously went to Cloud9. We couldn't pick up Thief until like a week before stage 1, maybe like 3 or 4 days. So barely on any practice or trials. Then stage 1 results didn't go as well. And we ended up moving on from Bones and Jonah, who eventually went to Fluffy Aimer slash what was, I don't remember what the team was before Fluffy Aimers, but then we ended up bringing on Will and Jake and then Penny to kind of like round out the roster with Physic and Thief.
Yeah.
And then we kind of played stage 1 and stage 2. Things were not great results wise, so we decided to move off of Will, and then we played with Stellar in the open qualifiers because Thief and Physic had played with him during CS days. And then Red Bull kind of went really good for us. We qualified pretty easily. We went out. Obviously, Stellar couldn't join us. He had a vacation plan, so we played with B-Dog. But it was really great exposure for us to kind of put our name out there. And then to kind of touch on the scouting grounds thing. So the reason why we started to do that and started to create list of players is at that time, our entire roster have been trialing or still have been trialing for essentially all of these other spots that are kind of opening up the Moist roster. There was a couple other rosters. I don't want to say the org's names or anything that they had been trialing for. So like even going into stage 3, we've only practiced maybe 1 day. So they're just kind of pugging it for fun, just playing. And we don't know if they're going to get those roster spots as well on those other rosters. So we kind of built that scouting grounds to kind of give us a list of players' names that we're interested in joining and playing with YFP. So that way we know, like going into 2025, if we do have a spot in challengers, like what are those names that we can reach out to and kind of gauge interest. So we know, like, because it's going to be a really, really quick turnaround with that starting in January.
Yeah.
That was the main thing for that.
Yeah, January is going to be a really quick rebuild ground, I would say.
Yeah.
For the next well, depending on what the TO does, we have no idea still, but it's going to be either fun or really hectic depending on what happens. Probably both.
Exactly.
So YFP just plugging it right now. I remember they had, I forget who his name was. They had a coach during the stage 2 and stage
Gordon.
1.
Yeah, Gordon Gogi. Yeah.
Is he still with YFP or is he just taking a break until?
Yeah, he's taking a break for now. I think he's going back to CS is the last I heard. So he's going back to Counter-Strike. He was the old Andbox coach back in the day when like Ye was on that roster, if you kind of remember.
Yeah.
So he's kind of been in Valorant for a while, but he was an old Dota player back in the day. So they just have him from then, and he's a pretty like straightforward kind of guy. He's from like Serbia, so he's like really, really straight to the point, like his way or the highway kind of thing. So yeah, he was a great person. But yeah, I think he's going back to CS is the last I heard.
Well, that sounds all good.
Yep. Yeah, just plugging it, having fun, just playing the game. Yeah, I think the most we've practiced is actually after we got out of group stages the past like couple days.
Gotcha.
And they just play like a map a day.
That's good. Well, I would love to ask more questions, but I can't hog them all, so I'm gonna take it over to Kaler Dave now.
I can take it over.
Yeah.
First off, thank you for being here. Just want to thank you. You know, everyone kind of hears the name YFP. Yes, fucking please. But not a lot of people really know like how it came to be. Do you have like is there like a backstory on that, or was it just like you just type random words?
So if a lot of people don't know this, there's 4 owners. I'm just the more public facing social media kind of person. 2 of us, we used to work together and play games every night. It's just something we would say kind of like as like you'd clutch around or something. It's just like something we would just say like just out and about. And then we brought on a fourth owner, Kevin, who was also part of Breakthrough. I don't know if you remember back in the day, Breakthrough Academy. So we kind of like merged forces to kind of bring his like knowledge. He is very, very like data driven, website driven. So he helps with that side of the business. Helps with a lot of connections on that side, linking us with some brands and stuff here and there. And the other two owners are Daniel and Jeremiah. We've known each other for, 8 to 10 years. Just been friends, played video games, played Call of Duty a lot back in the day. Valorant came out, we played that as well. And I remember Daniel and I were sitting and watching, right in COVID, 100 Thieves versus Moon Raccoons. And we were like, oh, Moon Raccoons, what the heck is a Moon Raccoon? And we like looked it up and we're like, oh, it's an org. I was like, can anyone just like start an org? And come to find out, yeah. Especially when Valorant was like open circuit. And yeah, registered the business like a week later. We kind of started on that journey of like the following January after that. And I think that was like November 2020, something like that. So yeah.
It's always cool to hear how people come to their names. You know, there's definitely other crazy names, but that's probably one of the more calmer ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was looking on Twitter the other day. It was a couple weeks ago, before you guys kind of dropped the pod that you guys are bringing out. Was there always a vision for you guys to lead into Overwatch and COD, or was it like originally just Valorant and then you kind of picked up those games like along the...
So what's funny is Overwatch is actually the first esport we ever went into back in the day, because we struggled to kind of find a Valorant roster back in the day. And the person we actually connected with for the Valorant roster is actually the head of Comp Ready, Apex, Austin. He was actually our GM for the Valorant side. And we actually had an Overwatch team before the Valorant side. But what we kind of noticed is like once we kind of got into challengers, it's like, okay, we can't only be Valorant, because if Valorant goes away, what are we going to do? Like, it's not a sustainable business. It's not a sustainable model in esports, unfortunately. So we got into Overwatch, primarily the Calling All Heroes, which is like the GC equivalent of Overwatch. Had a lot of success there. Most recently, we won back-to-back Calling All Hero tournaments, or like minor and majors. And we're going to go into OWCS in 2025 with a lot of the changes they announced with like partner teams, and all games are going to be broadcasted, 3 lands, 3 stages, very, very straightforward. Very something I wish tier 2 challengers look like. Or even franchising, like having partner teams while still also being open circuit is something that I think is great for the esport, but we'll see kind of where that goes. But, and then COD was like a new thing that, seeing all the like publicity COD like BO6 was getting, I was like, this is probably something we need to tap into, and kind of learning like how challengers operates in Call of Duty was something I was like, we got to get in on this, and connected with some people and learned that we could pick up a pretty good roster, a top 4 roster on challenger points. And we're like, let's just go head into it. And that's what we did.
Would you say that you guys are like at that stage of, now that you have like a very solid like Valorant roster, would you say you're at the stage of looking for more publicity and just looking to grow in terms of your social image?
Yeah, I think that's why like we're doing this whole brand refresh, brand reconfiguration, as I like to call it. Like new colors, more brand friendly, not really pushing that yes fucking please kind of thing, but putting more our players at the forefront and content creators. We're bringing on a few content creators, developing some podcasts on the side as well, to kind of push that like brand imagery and everything like that, to like really publicize like us as an org and kind of be taken more seriously. Because at times I feel like people think we're still not an org in quotes. But when like I work like 2 jobs and run this as like a passion project, we paid our entire Valorant team all last season off of my savings account, just so they could pursue the game full time and still be able to pay the bills. It's something that like I'm really passionate about, and I like put my money where my mouth is kind of situation.
Yeah.
but we have to find a way to become more sustainable and not just run off my savings.
Yeah.
But find a way to like generate revenue, whether it be merch, brand deals, content creation, and find people who are willing to like do that as well. Like that's something that we've struggled with as an org, is finding people willing to take the time out of their day to do that content piece. Like we don't ask our players too much to do it, because I'd rather they focus on the game itself, especially when Challengers was like almost year round when we got in. And then the moment the season ended and there was a break, they had trials. So I'm like not going to bother them when they're having trials. But it's finding those content creators that are willing to take the time out of their day and take the time out of their schedules from not streaming, creating content to help us do that at the same time. That's the thing that we've kind of struggled with.
That kind of leads like into my next question, because I know that a lot of the orgs in the tier 2, tier 3 space, I mean, like you said, you guys, some people still don't like see you guys as like a full-on org.
Yeah.
What would you say that has helped you guys like be able to, in your own eyes, push yourselves out of that category of like being a grassroots versus like becoming an like actual org? And what would you say is like some advice for other people that are looking to this?
Yeah, I think one is creating branding and brand awareness for yourself, right? A lot of these orgs that I like see on Twitter kind of pop up out of nowhere. They don't take the time to like develop like a brand guide, right? And stuff like that. Like, whereas like our creative director Bun is a master's like student at a graphic design school. She sat here and created a whole brand guide that's like 55 pages long. It's like the fonts we use, the colors we use, how the logo placement is, what's the distance from like other items that it can be, where's the placement, all these different things, right? That, and then also at the same time bringing on graphic designers that are willing to follow those guides. It creates a sense of professionalism and can kind of get you out of that scene, right? It makes you look like a step above others a little bit, and it paints yourself in a better light at the same time. I think that's like one thing that you want to make sure any like tier 3 org that's trying to get out of that tier 3 or even tier 4 to tier 3 kind of get out of that step and kind of establish themselves as a tier 2 org is one, creating a sense of professionalism. Also at the same time is like carrying yourself well, right? Like as a CEO, as something, as you want to make sure like you're doing the right things to like put people in a better light, whether it be supporting your players, creating like different avenues for them. Like if one of my players came to me, he's like, I want to do a whole TikTok series on XYZ. I'll be like, cool, let's go get you an editor to do that. It's like providing those tools and resources for your players to do that as well. I think that's like the one thing that I would say is like a sense of professionalism as well. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that's all the questions that I have. I'm sure Kale has some.
Do you want a yapping time? Okay. I'm ready. I'm like the D1 yapper of the call. Okay. First, let's start out, like, I'm the one that makes like this, like, they all act so professional, and I'm the one that makes it unprofessional. First, let's start out. Okay, what are the vibes of like the YFP Challengers team? I ask this because, in the most like respectful manner of them, they give yapping vibes, which isn't a bad vibe to have. It's just due to personal experience with them.
That's a great question. They are they are the biggest yappers I fucking know. God, I sometimes wake up. So we're in a group DM, especially for stage 3. And I sometimes wake up in the middle of the night at like 3 a.m. and there's like 84 messages. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, what are we talking about? And I just like scroll and I'm like, this is worthless. This is like worthless conversation that I don't need to be involved in. But no, I'll also say like they're all like great friends, right? And I think that helps with the yapping, I guess. Like right after Seattle, God, this was the craziest thing. So we didn't know we were playing Red Bull until a day before signups ended. And after we qualified, all of us looked at each other and were like, Thief, Stellar, Physic all have a trip to Greece the day after Seattle ends. And Red Bull wasn't willing to pay for a flight from Seattle to like cancel or like reschedule their flights or anything like that. So I had to front out of my own pocket for at least physics flight to get from Seattle to Greece for vacation. Stellar was going back home, so he couldn't play Red Bull. And then Brady or Thief was able to change his flights. But like that shows also one, their dedication to like that they're just here to yap all day long. And they just like they literally went from Seattle, played Sentinels, and then next day they were in Greece. And I was like, I don't know how you guys do it, but like they do it. And we would just get picture updates all the time. It's just like them sitting in the club on the beach.
They just start toasting to like taking on the Sentinels.
And I was like, what is happening? But like that's been our life like the past 3 months. We have no idea what the hell is happening, and we just yap all day long.
That's vibes. I know from personal experience because I can now like talk about this since when this airs, it will be after December 1st. So I can cook whatever I want now. So no, I know from adminning them. I know like beforehand that it also are yappers because like we would be doing ping tests and stuff, and they'd be like, I'm sorry if I was like 5 minutes late or something. I'm like, I was like, girly pops, it's okay. Like, we're selecting. And also just like in general, I did do one of their games. It was a very interesting pre-match.
Oh, I could imagine.
It was. I had to ask like for the server things. I have to get a screenshot, and
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah, and I had to get a screenshot, and the Yapachon 3000s, they just kept yapping. And I was like, guys, I don't think you understand. You can confirm as many times as you want. I need both teams in it for a screenshot. Like, I just don't
They're
know
like,
how to
nah, we're not doing that.
like, actually, they were like, and then somebody was joking about something else, and I was like, you're confusing the admin. I'm like, guys, I'm not getting confused. I just need, like, a screenshot. And you guys are going for, like, yes, confirm. And then before the other team can do it, they're like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, guys.
This is my favorite thing was actually yesterday. I told them that they were going to be on mainstream and they might have to have their cameras ready, and they're like, "Nah, I'm not doing that." I'm like, "Okay." I was like, "You're going to get me in trouble." They're like, "Yeah, I don't care." I'm like, "Okay." They're like, "No." And I was like, "Please, just tell me you're kidding." They're like, "Nima, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not kidding." I'm like, "God, I don't."
Just fight them, you know.
Well, and then I sent a screenshot to Keith, and when one of them said their cameras doesn't work, he's like, he can go buy a new camera. I'm like, I told him that. I told him that, and he's like, no, I'll make sure it works. So I was like, hey, whatever, man. I don't. I just work here.
When like my camera's broken turns into, actually, it's really not. I was just feeling lazy, but like I'll make it work now. You know, like
just the biggest yappers, bro.
I feel like the vibes are. I feel like the vibes are very fun, so
they are.
I don't know. I feel like over the case of most of the time for your teams, that they're pretty vibe filled. I feel like you guys.
I was gonna say we had Rebo before this, so yeah, we all know that.
We know how that is, guys.
Yep.
And then like even like just doing guys' like challenges. I've been in like the call. It's always the vibes. I like the fact that I feel like you guys build your teams not only necessarily on like skill level, but also like how to implement it. Because I feel like a lot of the teams that at least I can tell and all of that, which is like even I feel like some people forget that even if like the exact like want of like they're losing this game, and I just really like YFP's consistency. Like I feel like you guys really focus on. Also, if any like person leaving. Unless, like, I'm guessing, of course, unless it's on bad terms. But I feel like you guys really try to help other opportunities and vouch, which I also really respect as well. Because, I mean, sometimes people just drop by. So
yeah, I always like to say this is like when we decided to move on from Jonah, I would always check in on him every 2 months. I was like, dude, is there anything I can do for you? Can I help with anything? Is life good? So I just make sure to like help out as much as I can because like. We still operate in this ecosystem like that. Like a lot of these guys pay for like nothing. They play for nothing. And it's always good to check in on their mental and make sure they're all okay after the fact. When something like that happens.
I feel like a lot of times in that. So that's always just been something that I so.
I appreciate that.
Going into kind of just you guys hosted I think at least one, may have been a couple tournaments. My brain is like so boggled from the concussion. I didn't even know today was Friday. So So, but I do know you guys are like starting to kind of go into tournaments. Are you guys gonna? I believe I saw a message in the Discord that said that you guys are continuing it into 2025. And then, are you guys gonna try to look into COD? Like, are we gonna see like just Valorant tournaments?
For now, just Valorant. We might do Overwatch because that's something that I know way more about the esport than COD. I'm still kind of like learning COD, like what is going on even. They like explain like challenger points and stuff. I'm like, dude, you're getting it to the wrong guy. Just like move on. But no, Overwatch, like what's great about Overwatch is they use the Faceit system, and Faceit has been a great partner in that regard of making it a lot easier. They even put out a thing the other day where, hey, if you want to do community tournaments and use the Faceit platform, like apply to be a like TO like a TA like for it, like an admin for it, or a TO like as an organizer. And then we can kind of help you like with prize pools and stuff like that. So like that was something that I was like, okay, like that's viable. That makes sense, right? So we might see some Overwatch stuff here. I would love to do something for Calling All Heroes in Overwatch because I feel like that's a scene that doesn't get the recognition that it gets. The same thing with GC and Valorant. I feel like that's a scene that doesn't get the recognition that it deserves to get. I want to make sure we're supporting them as much as possible. So that's something I would love to do.
Oh, sorry. I was like intrigued when I stuff. And then
well, to be fair, like Tim's system makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Like if I don't have to do all the Battlefy stuff, I was like that alone is worth it. So shout out to Tim or Mr. Funhaver, as everyone knows him, like creating probably one of the best websites for like hosting a tournament I've ever seen. Because he took all of the problems and like solved all of those problems. But like at the same time, he's also willing to take feedback because he's like, hey, what doesn't work and what does work? And makes those changes. So like shout out to Tim. Absolutely.
We had him on our first episode?
The first episode.
First episode. I don't even know.
We had Santa on.
It's a long time ago.
I'm gonna be honest, every single episode ends up with us being like, yeah, we're getting fired, and we just end up back. So we don't count anymore.
I love that.
We're always like, wait, like that did not work, did it? This is gonna be awkward. We're fired.
I mean, spoiler for next episode, we're not being get a vacation. But...
Oh yeah. On God, actually, we're not here next episode. Oh my God.
Yippee.
We're getting fired.
I'm gonna D1 yap somewhere else, guys. No,
RDMs, what suits.
And then I'm trying to think of like just other questions. I feel like everyone else comes prepared, and I'm just more or less like I go after everyone, and I'm interesting.
I have a question you could ask him.
What if I just thought of a different question, Dave?
I'll whisper it so that you ask him the question.
There you go.
Nice. Okay. Very subtle.
Ask him about Rocket League.
Oh my God.
So a birdie just told me. What about Rocket League? Are you ever gonna venture into that?
So what's funny? Okay, when we first started, that was so Daniel and Jeremiah, the other owners, huge Rocket League people. Like understand the esport like it's their second baby. Like they just get it, and they were explaining it to me. I'm like, dude, I don't understand what. And then when we start to like look into it, this was back in the day when a crew was around. If anyone remembers a crew,
yes,
we were talking to the same Rocket League team they were talking to, and the asking price for a Rocket League team is just not worth it. Flat out, like money wise, not worth it for what you get as an Oregon return. The only time it's worth it is if you're in like that tier 1 circuit where you get the decals. That's when it's worth it. But at the same time, it's just flat out not. So
that's Relic. Relic said that he probably was gonna have to go. Never mind, he's back.
Oh,
okay.
he's back. He's back.
Okay.
I accidentally joined a different VC. I don't know. Don't ask me how.
Or was I here like, yeah, I'm not the one asking the questions right now, so I'm just gonna scroll.
It's just scroll, just move out.
He's like, yeah, actually, like I'm just gonna head out now, guys.
I joined a different VC. I said hi, sorry, I joined by mistake, left, and then I got a DM saying, "What are you doing?" Nice.
I do have another question. Are we gonna see like a YFP merch room? Like I know
Yeah.
we've seen some of the past. Like what
I
are
keep
we?
on seeing Twitter posts about that.
I wanna
Yeah.
see like I'm low key. I haven't gotten any YFP merch yet, but like I'm waiting for the time that something likes me, and I'm like I can't wait to like get it.
Like a
If you
YFP
can-
hoodie would be
if-
amazing.
If you can see all this stuff,
Yes.
these are all samples.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Right,
You
right
heard
here.
it. You heard it here, guys. There's samples of stuff in the works.
There's samples of stuff. No, I can't leak it because it shows all the
don't leak it.
brand.
Don't leak it.
I can't leak it.
have
I
to
can't.
leak.
I can't.
Is this something
Tempting.
that's exciting though? Is there
Yes. So on January 1st, when we do our whole brand refresh, store is going to be launched too.
oh my gosh, less.
So I'll kind of tease the products we got. We got 3 t-shirts, 2 hoodies, 2 sweatpants, a water bottle, and a tote bag.
A water bottle.
A
Is it
water
like
bottle.
Is it like a big one or like a?
Hold on.
Oh, he's gonna leak the water bottle.
Who's gonna leak the water bottle?
Wait.
He's leaking the water bottle.
Oh my goodness. Fuck.
I'll just show I can't show the print, but it's like.
okay.
It's not a bad water
That's
bottle.
Bad. It's not a bad water
It's a
bottle.
pretty hefty, sizable water bottle.
Yeah.
Bro, I'll be going to Target. There's
Okay.
there's
Hello?
ones that are half that size that people buy. Trust me.
Yeah.
It'll be
So
fine.
so we got those things going on. So
Let's go.
And then we have a store right now live. I'll kind of explain like the little merch background. My background is in like merchandising. I used to have a clothing company back in the day, and I've been screen printing all this stuff myself, and it's just not sustainable that way. I've learned, especially this last merch drop, I really got screwed over. So we're going to be like outsource drop shipping it going forward to make sure like 1, quality is great. 2, we can deliver things within 5 to 11 days now, which like will help like turnaround times big time. Make sure people can get their products, and then the products will always be available. We won't not have anything exclusive. Like if you go to the store, merch will always be available no matter. That's how it's going to look like going forward.
That's cool. I'm kind of like seeing YFP's moves, and also not going back to the stuff earlier about how a lot of people didn't see you guys and stuff like that for things. So I'm kind of like I'm a lot of things. I don't know. I'll be honest. I've just been very bored, and I'm like a person that's like, scrolling Twitter like, wow, this there's a cat picture, and I'll be like, oh, this is happening.
Yeah.
Usually cat pictures though. I will be
Love
honest.
that.
I have like 90% of the Valsy blocked. Just kidding. It's not blocked. Just muted. So I've been like seeing a lot of YFP stuff. So I don't know. I'm excited. I feel like YFP is definitely more of the successful stories that I think that a lot of people now are seeing in the Val scene, where they wish that they were like back in the day when they, I guess, get to the same you might be at currently, but are. So
yeah. What's funny is like on that topic, I was talking to Veer, who's the coach of Lemonade Stand, and he was like, "Man, he's like, what are you guys' plans for next year?" I was like, "Dude, I just flat out don't know. Like with this whole new TO situation, like we could just not be in Valorant. I don't know what that looks like. Because like for me personally, I don't want to go through another journey of open qualifiers. I don't have it in my mental state to go through that.
Yeah.
Because the first time we qualified, I like broke down on tears on stream and like sad, like ended stream of like pure joy. And then I went and popped a bottle of champagne right after. So that clip's on Twitter too if you need that. It's great. But and I was just telling him, I was like, I flat out don't know. And he's like, dude, if YFP left like the tier 2, I feel like that would be a hole in the scene. I was like, damn, I didn't know people felt like that. And it's just crazy to hear like from 4 years ago to today, how much we've grown. So
I feel like also just I guess the team in general is it's like not even so much branding of like they've done in their past, but I feel like again, like I haven't really seen YFP really be canceled on Twitter. Do you know what I mean? Like I haven't really seen like a, like I feel like that's a very weird like thing, but In the Val
No,
scene, we
it's
all
just
know
true.
that's possible. Okay,
Yeah.
like in the Val scene, like I think the only time that like anything could have happened with YFP would have been like when that whole Overwatch thing happened like
Yeah.
a few months ago. But I mean, you guys weren't like I'm talking about like everyone got hit when that happened. Like
Yep.
40 million people just got hit when that happened.
Yep.
So like in general, like when I think of YFP, I don't be like, oh yeah, like that team like it's canceled, or there's like negativity regarding sort of thing of like, oh yeah, they had this player and that player and they just like kept them, or they, you know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know. I feel like YFP just really sides of like the scene, and that it's there's a lot of negativity. So
No.
I like to tell this to, I was gonna say, I tell this to my staff all the time. I'm like 31 years old. I don't have time to deal. Like I have a girlfriend. We have like dogs in our house. We have 4 dogs and a cat in the house. I help take care of.
Wait, what type of dogs? What type of cats? Hold on.
So they're my roommates. So they're my roommates personally. He's actually one of our content creators as well. And he has a lab pit mix. So it's like a 60-pound big dog. Then we have a Chihuahua, a Dachshund Beagle mix, and I think another Chihuahua. It's like he's like a Chihuahua mix with something. The Dachshund Beagle mix causes me pain 24/7 because he howls at everything. Like the wind blows the wrong way. He's like, dude, there's an intruder at the door.
YFP Valorant right there.
It kills me sometimes. And then we have a cat that just roams the house. He just does his own thing. As a cat does. So like I have so much going on in my life. Like I can't deal with drama / don't want drama in my life. So I nip that in the butt as fast as possible when it comes to anything like that. So yeah.
Let's go. That's like I wish a lot of people were like that. So
and like handles itself really well. That is true.
I appreciate that. Yeah, like as I say, I just don't have time to.
We sometimes go a little bit off topic and not Val related, but like on that's really a fully personal level. Like I don't know, you could be like, yeah, I'm going to Greece with the boys like for a week, you know? Like,
oh man, I wish. No trips in the plans. I'm trying to think. Honestly, I just take it day by day because I don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. It's just continue. It's just continue like growing as a person, I guess. My staff really wants to push me as like a content creator, and I'm like, dude, I may. But we'll see how that goes. They're really trying to push for that, and for me to be more public and public facing. So this is my first go at that, and we're gonna kind of see how that goes into 2025. Just take it a day at a time.
Be like the better nade shot.
Whoa!
No one can compete with Nate Shot, man. That man knows how to like rile people up, and it's great.
Let's get Nate Shot on here.
Honestly, yeah. If you want a yapper, there you go. That's a yapper.
Day versus Nate Shot.
Oh my! I think I'd win.
Okay, bro, let's calm down.
I was gonna say Nate Shot's like truly an inspiration. Like how he kind of like grew. And like has grown like 100 Thieves and everything like that. Like that's the main reason. That's like the first esport team I fell in love with. So that's like a true inspiration to me. So if ever one day I could meet him, that'd be something.
Okay, guys, we gotta get the hashtag going. Get Nima and Nate Shot to meet up. We need
there you go.
We need 2 goats in one photo.
There you go.
What would the tag be? Knee shot?
Me shot.
Me shot.
No,
Yeah.
that sounds wrong. That sounds wrong on so many levels.
Okay, maybe we'll work on a hashtag outside of the episode.
Maybe you just
will
combine the
not be head of
orgs.
branding.
Combine the orgs. YFT.
100, please.
100,
100, please. There you go.
Please.
There we go. Perfect.
So, I mean, I think that's like everything that I kind of have. Like, gosh.
I guess just as like a final, like a closing question, if there was anyone, you know, other than Nade Shot that you would that you think would be a good fit for us to interview, who would it be? Or is there anyone that you want to like just shout out?
Honestly, the one player that I grew like the biggest connection with as like a person, and I'll say group of people, was the last team we had. So Alexander, Rebo, Shonk, Glyph, and was Dim Sum Boy at the time. I felt like we were all truly friends and like connected as people. And then I'll also shout out like Physic on the IGL of our current team. A lot of people have this misconception that Stellar's IGLing. It's not Stellar, it's Physic.
Yeah, it is.
He's been with me for a full year now, almost. And he's always in my corner, no matter what. So I'll always shout him out.
We just get Physic on one day, guys.
He will not do a podcast. I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you that. That's the one who was complaining about the cameras. You think he's going to get on a podcast?
Honestly, it's way easier the second time.
I took a guess it was him. I'm not going to lie.
Like when it comes to podcasts, like it's scary the first time you put the camera on, then like you get like used to it. Like I remember the first time we did this, I did not want to put my camera on at all.
Well, like I don't know if you guys saw, he helped us. I was an assistant coach for Shopify during Berlin.
Yes.
So if you saw him on camera a few times, and he said he was like scared shitless the entire time. So like I don't think like putting him on a podcast also and then having him talk is the best way to go.
It's okay.
If he wants the offer, we're here. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's on
He's
the
like,
table.
he doesn't want the offer.
He doesn't want the offer.
He's like, the offer's there. He's like, please no, don't give that to me.
Couple of last questions before we end the podcast for tonight.
Yep.
How do you scout your talent for your teams? What qualities do you prioritize in your players and staff?
Yeah. So staff, it comes down to one, like time management. It's like a priority. Like even my IRL job, like that's like main thing for me is time management, communication, and when it comes to players, no big egos. I can't stand it as a person, but also when like especially a player in an esport has a big ego, it ruins opportunities for them down the road. Like you can have an ego about yourself, like I'm good at what I do. But at the same time, like, don't shoot down every opportunity that comes to you because you never know what that opportunity is going to be or what it could turn out to be. It could turn out to be the best thing that's ever happened to you. And you just don't know it because you turned it down because of your large ego. So that's like something that I prioritize in any players. Like, I don't really look at VLR stats too much when it comes to like building a team, especially in Valorant. I come to how do they connect us people together? Because like even if you look like, especially in our team now, every game it's a different top fragger. And that's just because they play well as a team together. They communicate, they swing off of each other, they know how to communicate and comm as one, and they all understand what the person's going to do next. Now sometimes there's like overcooked situations, we all get that, but like they still talk it out when those things happen.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. Okay, you two can ask the next question, Galen.
So I know we talked about like advice that you have for like newer orgs, but I guess for your org, like starting out, what were kind of challenges that you guys faced when you were starting out, and how did you kind of overcome them?
Yeah, challenges. I think a big challenge that everyone has is I need money, right? And yes, do you get to a point where you're like, I can't grow no matter what without like some infusion of money? Yeah. But at the same time, it's all about building your business properly and not burning cash or burning things at the beginning, right? It's like setting the groundwork at the beginning, because if you do it at the beginning, it'll lead to things down the road. Also making sure you're doing all those things properly. We all the time, we always see these orgs come up, they're like, oh, it seems sketchy, I don't trust them, are they even a legit business, yada yada yada, right? And it's about like, one, if you can prove that you're kind of legit and see that, then a lot of people kind of trust what you're doing, and it can help grow the business as a whole. So that's what I kind of give any advice to any org looking to start or people looking to start in the industry, is like making sure you're a trustworthy person, because this is a business.
For sure.
Third one. What are your thoughts on importing?
Yeah. So I think one is huge. I've been going to therapy since I was even 18, and I'm 31 years old now. Once a month, talk to a therapist, because mental health is important, because there's going to be burnout factors to anything. You got to make sure like you are not burning out, especially in an esport or in a video game. Like burnout's going to be huge. So I think prioritizing mental health is like a key factor into anything because it builds longevity at the same time. So I think making sure if you even have to bring someone that's willing to talk to the guys, that's something you just have to do. So it's just something you have to prioritize from the beginning.
Okay. First, wait, why do I look like I have eye bags? What the? Okay, anyways, this is now I have to lock in. I'm like not locked in. Okay. Anyways, this is the end of episode ? As I do not recall which episode number this is. As a closing, we would just like to thank Nima for being here, being open about YFP, and then yeah. So this is kind of just the ending. And hopefully got this cut out. Oh, anyways, I feel like this should be the thumbnail.